criminal networks. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun made this known at a state strategic meeting with commanders of Border Patrol Base in Abuja. Our security correspondent Kikeloma Okere has more.
Border security remains one of the Nigerian biggest challenges, fueling internal crisis and cross-border crimes. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, directed all commanders of Border Patrol Base to strengthen patrol and file detailed monthly reports on their activities. Egbetokun emphasized that strong border security is vital to national safety and regional stability, urging personnel to return to their duty posts with renewed commitment.
This report must highlight, at the very least, your successes in intercepting arms and ammunition, seizing narcotics and other contraband, and disrupting human trafficking networks while rescuing victims and holding traffickers to account.
The police boss says the force is investing in surveillance system, drone technology and data analysis to improve border management, assuring that officers will be adequately equipped to meet the task.
We make technology available. We're already investing in surveillance systems, drone technologies, and all of data analytics and all of that. So we continue to provide the modern tools that will improve the performance of our officers at their duty posts.
It is believed that effective monitoring coupled with modern technology will help close long exploited loopholes. Kikeloma Okere, Global Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has flagged up Renew Her, a presidential women's health transformation initiative to safeguard maternal health and women's well-being. He described the program as an answer to one of the nation's most critical prayers and a cornerstone of a healthier Nigeria, rating it as a national priority. Speaking during the launch gala and awards at the State House in Abuja, President Tinubu, who was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, noted that women's health is fundamental to Nigeria's development trajectory. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory Command, Ajao Adewale, says tackling insecurity requires more than policing, noting that it demands cultural reawakening and community-driven solutions. Adewale stated this at the launch of a new initiative by You Against Crime International in Abuja. Our correspondent Sadia Yakubu was on ground and tells us more.
The Commissioner of Police FCT Command Ajao Adewale says the launch of You Against Crime International is aimed at tackling crime in Nigeria through cultural reawakening, advocacy and community involvement in a bid to build a safer and more resilient Nigeria.
Can reinvent the society today is suffering from youth bulge. If we do not take care of these youths, we have destroyed the future. Security agencies cannot do it alone. Let's take the battle back to the community. When we get it right there, we'll get it right everywhere. Culture surely is a cure to crime and criminality.
Chief Executive Officer You Against Crime International, Tayo Folorunsho, and the Mandate Secretary for Women's Affairs at the FCT administration, Dio Benjamin, highlighted the need to instill morals and discourage crime. They therefore called for stronger partnerships between cultural advocates and security agencies.
In such a time like this, to profile a lasting solution, what we are doing is to see that, if not eradicate, we are going to reduce crime through our programs that is centered around to stimulate students' youth creativity, their passion, to align them with their purpose. Because
crime prevention is better than just looking for the solution in a cure in itself. Because cure is never sure. But prevention, when done strategically, cascading the full interventions of integration for community, like we here see today, through culture, through entertainment, truly becomes the cure for crime.
Representing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Aisha Mohammed emphasized the need for collaborative efforts of security agencies to combat crime.
While talking about culture, I will say that parenting is the most important part of culture. We have to go back to the way we were doing things before.
With security agencies, cultural leaders, and communities uniting under one vision, the initiative by You Against Crime International signals a fresh approach to crime prevention, one rooted in culture, collaboration, and collective responsibility. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television News.
From Security Matters, a report by the World Health Organization says more than 720,000 people die annually through suicide worldwide, with devastating and far-reaching impacts on families, friends, workplaces, and communities. This highlights the urgent need for prevention, support, and systemic change. As the world celebrates Suicide Prevention Day, our correspondent Zarau Nasir takes a look at the situation and files in this report.
The day aims to raise awareness about suicide, promote understanding, and inspire action to create a safer and more supportive environment for everyone.
World Suicide Prevention Day was first celebrated in 2003 to create awareness on the consequences of this social menace. It is observed on the 10th of September every year in order to come up with more avenues to tackle the problem across the globe. The International Association for Suicide Prevention collaborates with the World Health Organization and the World Federation for Mental Health to host World Suicide Prevention Day. In an exclusive interview with Global Television, a consultant psychiatrist with Federal Medical Center Abuja, Dr. Garba Itofa Yahaya, listed depression, drug abuse, and anxiety disorder among factors that lead people to commit suicide.
Factors that might make an individual contemplate or decide to take their life is multifactorial. Yes, it's multifactorial. So having a mental illness like depression is a factor. Another mental illness that might predispose individuals to having to committing suicide is schizophrenia, which is a severe mental illness in itself. Okay. Then again, we have bipolar disorders, in which we have mania and depression occurring at different times, in between which you have a normal mood for the individual. Then again, use of substances, alcohol, addiction to maybe heroin, cocaine, and all that, especially when they are withdrawing from its use, it can drive some individuals to committing suicide. Then again, anxiety disorders.
Dr. Garba also explained measures to prevent suicide among individuals.
We should not sensationalize the issue of suicide. Don't glorify it. Because there's nothing of glory in that act in itself. All right. So another thing again is for us as individuals and as a community or society to be empathetic. We should empathize with what each and every one of us is going through at this moment. Because of this economic hardship that's going on, a lot of people are going through a lot of pressure. So the mere fact of checking on one another, you've not seen Mr. A or Mrs. B for some time. Okay, let me find out. You're in a WhatsApp group, all of a sudden someone who was very active becomes silent and nobody is saying anything. Nobody is asking. The person might be there, watching posts, but because nobody, and he's not posting and nobody is asking in my life, oh, that means I'm not of any use.
The theme for the 2025 World Suicide Prevention Day is changing the narrative on suicide.
Zarau Nasir, reporting for Global TV News.
When AM News returns, Burkina Faso scraps visa fees for African travelers. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Back. It's good to have you. In business, the federal government says Nigeria's booming creative industry is ripe for investment, urging both local and foreign stakeholders to seize emerging opportunities in arts, culture, tourism, and entertainment. Reinforcing this message, Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Creative Economy, Mukhtar Mohammed, called on investors and international community to step in, noting that the sector is wide open for business and brimming with untapped potential. He said this while speaking at a press conference to announce the commencement of Creative Economy Week 2025 in Abuja. The federal government has also announced that the implementation of the 2025 national budget will begin by the end of September as execution of the 2024 fiscal plan winds down. This was disclosed by the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Tanimu Yakubu, during the third quarter Ministerial Stakeholders and Citizens Engagement Forum, hosted by the Ministry of Budget and National Planning in Abuja. He explained that the 44.99 trillion naira 2025 budget, tagged the Budget of Restoration, was designed to stimulate economic growth, improve public services, and attract investments across key sectors. The federal government has also assured Nigerians that they would soon have access to 24-hour electricity supply. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, who stated this in Abuja during the inauguration of 2 blocks housing 5 training workshops and a 104-room hostel at the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, noted that the country is on the road to sustainability in the power sector. Adelabu noted that government's efforts are already yielding results, with the country recording the highest power generation and transmission in its history. And to some legislative matters, the House of Representatives says it is moving to reposition Nigeria's solid minerals sector as part of efforts to diversify the economy beyond oil. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas made this known at a public hearing on 12 bills aimed at reforming the sector. Our National Assembly correspondent tells us more. Represented by lawmaker Mark Oseni, the Speaker stressed that developing the solid minerals sector is not an option, but an imperative for building a resilient and inclusive economy. The Speaker explained that the public hearing provides a vital platform for citizens and stakeholders to make contributions that will shape the future of the sector.
The bills to establish multiple federal institutes of mining and geosciences across various states, Garagu in Nasarawa State, Takum in Taraba State, Ikoro in Ekiti State, Akampa in Cross River State, Gusau in Zamfara State, and Umuahia in Abia State, are a testament to our commitment to building the intellectual and technical capacity required to harness our mineral wealth responsibly.
Chairman of the House Committee on Solid Minerals, Jonathan Gwefe, said the exercise is both a constitutional duty and a strategic step towards repositioning the sector as a true pillar of economic transformation.
If 10% of all what had been generated from oil in River State was being put as a community development association to develop River State, where do you think River State would have been today? So please, we must have a human face to all we're doing.
Some stakeholders at the hearing also contributed their thoughts on the way forward, stating that the solid minerals sector is an integral part of developing a robust economy, taking attention away from oil revenue.
Instead of having clear-cut institutes in all parts of the geopolitical zone, we have some schools of excellence. Take, for instance, in Jos, where you have the University of Jos. And University of Jos has a department of mining and geology. And you make this research and development and skills acquisition a major input, not just from government, but from even operators in the industry.
Community Development Commission, to me, it's not going to really help the mining sector itself, because it's like putting more obstacles in the path of investment in this sector.
Lawmakers insist that input from stakeholders will be key in refining the bills into forward-looking legislation capable of harnessing Nigeria's mineral wealth for national development. Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV. The government of Burkina Faso has announced the removal of visa fees for all African nationals as a step to strengthen Pan-African solidarity and encourage free movement of people and goods. The Minister of Security, Mahamadou Sana, disclosed the policy shift after a cabinet meeting presided over by the country's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. He, however, clarified that travelers would still be required to submit an online application for approval prior to entry. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has announced alarm at escalating violence in Nepal, where youth protesters set fire to parliament after a brutal police crackdown that left at least 19 dead. Speaking in a video statement, Turk made clear that dialogue is the best way and only way to address the concerns of the Nepalese people. Now over to Uyi Agumofebe for more details.
The UN Rights Chief said citizens have the right to peacefully express their frustrations, noting that there are concerning reports of unnecessary and disproportionate use of force by the security forces. He made a plea for law enforcement to exercise substantial constraints.
I'm appalled by the escalating violence in Nepal that has resulted in multiple deaths and the injury of hundreds of mostly young protesters, as well as the widespread destruction of property. I plead with security forces to exercise utmost restraint and to avoid further such bloodshed and harm.
He equally condemned attacks on government buildings, business entities, and private buildings, describing such acts as disturbing.
Violence is not the answer. Dialogue is the best and only way to address the concerns of the Nepalese people. It is important that the voices of young people are heard. Protesters have the right to express peacefully their political frustrations and grievances over corruption and a ban on social media platforms.
Turk also said his office stands ready to support dialogue and trust-building measures that can help de-escalate tensions and restore confidence. Uyi Agumofebe, reporting for Global TV News.
And in sports, Nigeria will face Venezuela in an international friendly at Shell Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas, United States on Friday, November 14th as part of their build-up to the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. The match will be staged at the home of Houston Dash and Dynamo, who confirmed the announcement on their website and social media. The club season ticket holders of Houston Dynamo and Dash were granted early access to tickets from Wednesday before sales opened to the public the following day. Nigeria's Ezekiel Nathaniel has been backed to win a medal in the men's 400 meters hurdles at the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo after a Kenyan official singled him out on arrival in Japan. Speaking to Making of Champs at Narita International Airport, the Kenyan representative made clear that while his first loyalty is to his own team, he also wishes success for the Nigerian hurdler. And to the Manchester side, the Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana has completed a loan move to Turkish side Trabzonspor for the remainder of the 2025-2026 season. Trabzonspor confirmed this on its Twitter, handled as X account, that the transfer agreed before the close of Turkey's window on Friday is subject to international clearance and player registration. United wished the 29-year-old good luck as he begins his new challenge. And that's it on Global AM News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Time channel 276. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms now showing on your screen at Global TV NG. I am Anita Patrick. Thanks for staying with us.